Okay, hello world. Welcome to the 211th Climate Change Emergency Protest. I think I had to pause here because I had an interruption with a truck going by. So this is number 211. It's December 22nd, 2022. I can't duplicate what I said a few minutes ago, so here we go again, trying. There's always interruptions. So right now, this is called snow. For my friends here in Asia, Africa, Middle East, and South America, and the southern United States, this is what happens when the temperature is below 32 or around 35 or lower. And the real kill zone is when it's 25 degrees. You get a lot of snow. But this is precipitation and ends up in snow. So it's going to be pleasant here for today, sort of, kind of. It's going to rain, but tomorrow's going to be horrific. We're going to get 2 inches of snow today, then rain. Then tomorrow the temperatures drop. They're going to be somewhere around 10 to 7 degrees at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Fahrenheit, which is really low. And then the wind's going to blow. So the wind chill could be somewhere around minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to go from 43 degrees today down to minus 22 degrees, which is 65 degree temperature change. And the minus 22 is a wind chill. Okay, that's not the actual air temperature. Real air temperature is 10 degrees. So what's happening right now is you're getting a north flow out of Siberia across the Arctic and coming down into northwest United States and Canada and into the United States itself. But you're also having a strong Pacific flow. This is all at 34,000 feet. So you get in a vector thrust, which is, the term I'm coming up with. I don't know if it's a real one or not. But such as if you're in an airplane and you're flying this direction, you get hit by a side wind, it increases the speed of the airplane. Well, what's going to happen tomorrow is you get in the same situation at 34,000 feet where the wind will be blowing severely. And here it's going to be minus 22 wind chill, but out west, the Midwest, North Dakota and South Dakota, it's going to be minus 70 degree wind chill. So people can literally get frostbite and maybe even die within a matter of seconds to minutes to an hour for sure if you're not protected. So that's pretty significant. So right now I have a Christmas gift for you all, and then we'll go beyond that. But first off, we have to remember that around the world, horrific things are still happening with climate change. Even though the climate has abated somewhat and it's livable, it's cold, but we're not suffering immensely. Around the world, people are still suffering terribly, and especially in Kenya right now, animals are literally giving up and dying. They're into the third year of drought. All the grass is gone. All the food is gone. There's no water. And you're having people fighting people, but you're having animals giving up, like the wildebeest and the giraffes and the elephants. And they're just literally falling over. Zebras, they're literally falling over and dying. The hyenas are doing great because they're eating the carcasses, but eventually that'll run out too. And then you got a whole system failure. So the birds aren't doing well. There's one pond in Africa that elephants and all are going to, but they get stuck in the mud. So there's grass, mossy stuff in there, but they can't stay there because their legs get stuck in the mud and then they drop over dead. So it's a whole thing. Everything gets fouled. So that's what's some of the things. Pakistan suffered immensely this year with climate change. India, southern United States, you name it, China, around the whole world. And so it's not just Africa or whatever. There's South America. I mean, we've got a whole system failure going on right now, and people fail to recognize. And they just want to, United States, they just want to celebrate Christmas and forget everything. But I beg you not to do that. Like, go on, live your lives, but understand that things are out of control right now around the world. It might seem fine here, but elsewhere it is not. So this is my idea for plans here, around the United States and the world in general. You can do this. We have yards, so what that means is there's usually grass in the yards. We dug up all of our grass, got rid of our lawnmower, and planted trees and plants and everything else like that, so we don't have to mess with the environment and kind of leave things alone. We have birds where other people in the neighborhood don't have birds in their yard in the summer. It's really a wonderland here in the summertime. So what you can do is dig up all your yard or part of your yard or even an area and just don't mow it. Even a square, a 2 yard square area, don't mow it. See what develops. But you can plant local plants, things like that. We try to do that. This tree here is called a cedar pine. It survives drought, flood, you name it. It's a wonderful tree. So there's wonderful things you could do. Also, over Christmas holidays and New Year's, go for a hike. Go hike in the woods. Go hike in the park if you're in the city area. Get outside your apartment. Get back to nature a little bit. Another thing you can do if you're in the more country suburban area, you could get bees, producing honey. They pollinate everything. You could get chickens. They produce eggs. You don't have to get a whole flock. 3 or 4 birds is fine. Um, One big thing you could do as a family unit is decide not to have any more kids. If you have one child, please stop. If there are two of you, a husband and wife, or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and you had one child, please don't have any more. If everyone did that, the population of the Earth would be cut in half in one generation. So that's pretty severe. The biggest user or biggest threat to the climate change issue is humans. So if you have less humans, then you have a better chance of surviving. I'm not saying do eugenics or anything like that or off a population, but if you just choose not to have any more kids, that makes a big difference. Uh, for Christmas time in the United States, they give gifts. Rather than using wrapping paper, or if you do use wrapping paper, take it off very carefully and then use it next time for birthdays or next Christmas. But you could also use newspapers. Explain to people this is why I'm using newspaper, because I'm recycling. I don't want to buy any new wrapping paper, and it kills more trees and destroys the environment in general. You could use newspapers. You could use old maps. If you have maps of the United States and you're traveling, you could use old maps that are torn up. So there's a lot of little things you can do along the way. Have a compost heap. Put your organic trash in that outside and let it decompose, and then keep shifting it every now and then, once every 2 or 3 months. And within 3 or 4 months, you have dirt. Okay, and it's really rich dirt, and it's really good for the plants. So what you need to do is do kind of stuff like that and think outside the box. But you deserve better from your politicians. Right now, they're not dealing with the climate crisis. You never hear anything about climate change or anything going on. And this is the biggest threat. The military even said this is the biggest threat to the security of the United States and those around the world as well. So we need to not have wars. This issue going on with Russia and the United States over Ukraine. We're going to fight to the last Ukrainian. That's what's going to happen. You have a giant war machine that they have to justify their budget. It's $858 billion a year. Russia has their own issues why they want to fight, and it's just a continual war there. But there are other nations too, where for in Africa and other places where they're suffering immensely from climate change, and yet you get these little groups that want to fight within that area and try to establish power. You're not going to have power eventually when everyone's going extinct. This idea that humans are doing, fighting over little things, is just totally bizarre. If you're an alien looking down at the world, you'd go like, what is wrong with these people? And they probably have a giant sign somewhere outside the solar system going, avoid the third planet from the sun, because these people are crazy. I mean, we truly are. We're actually insane as to protectionism and not seeing each other as related to each other. Everything's connected. It's the butterfly effect. Wings of a butterfly create wind, and that wind spins off into something else and something else. And pretty soon you got a hurricane or a doing something good ends up spinning off to someone else sees that, and then someone else sees that, and soon it goes exponential, and you've helped a bunch of people out of one act of kindness. So, don't forget worldwide unimaginable events are happening. Also celebrate love one another, but have conversations with people you don't agree with, about climate change and what's happening in the world. And I guarantee you that, initially there's going to be dogmatic standoffishness, like how dare you, whatever. But essentially we all want the same thing. We all want to survive. We want to live a life of happiness, have the kids have a future life and everything like that. And the path we're on right now, either worldwide we start cooperating with each other as a group, or we're going to die separately. Country borders make no sense at all. If you look from space, there are no borders. This idea of the United States, Canada, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Europe, things like that, we're all related to each other. We're all one group. And if we don't start cooperating with each other with this existential threat, as many politicians have called it, which justifiably so, meaning we're all going to die immediately if we don't get our program together. That's that kind of threat. It's like a tiger on your back that you can't get off. It's an existential threat. If we don't start doing things together, we're in big trouble, and we already are in big trouble. We need to work our way back from big trouble to just regular trouble, and then eventually solving the issue. So this is Christmas, and I hope you all have a wonderful season. I know a lot of you don't celebrate Christmas that I talk to, and that's A-okay with me. Everyone has religious outlook on things and a spiritual outlook on things. And there's nothing wrong with that. Essentially, truth is truth, and the basis of all the religions are all the same. You think one group is better than the other group, and that's wrong-headed thinking, because we all have the same foundation as what we want from the world and how to treat others. So if you look at every other group, your one group is not any better than the other. So celebrate each other, talk to each other on this page or wherever you want. If you want to learn about climate change, go right down this Facebook page. I've got a ton of information for years on here. And, hope to see you next week. And that'll be New Year's week. And 2023, I would like to say it's going to be a better year, but the way we're headed right now, unless we start doing something significant and severely, we're in big trouble. So celebrate this holiday, but don't forget to start taking action, and you deserve better than what's being handed to you. So try to take control of your own life, and I'll catch you next week. See ya.